All right, it's Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Welcome back and welcome to the Bearcat Podcast. How are you guys doing? Good morning from here. It is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where I'm broadcasting from. 6 p.m. in Nigeria. Happy to see you guys again. So, the topic of today's session is U.S. government shutdown. Are Nigerian exports at risk? So, we are 28 days into the U.S. shutdown that started on October 1st. I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you are currently exporting to the United States during the shutdown? And how many have paused until the shutdown ends? Drop your city and country in the comments. Let's see where you're joining from. And also, kindly drop the products you are exporting. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Rich Mberikat. I am a Nigerian-born, US-based entrepreneur. I own Mberikat Ventures. Our website is mberikat.com. We are a trusted name in US, Nigeria exports and investments. So we speak to both the Nigerian diasporas and also those back home. So I am sitting at my principal residence in Las Vegas, Nevada, broadcasting, talking to you about this guy, talking to you guys. And although we specialize, although we are focused on the US Nigeria corridor, we still attract viewership from all over the world. Singapore, UK, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Ireland, Germany, Australia, Pakistan, India, China, Japan. As you guys know, our people are everywhere. Nigerians are everywhere. I wasn't born in the United States. I was born in Lawansin, in Lagos, Nigeria, Surulere, Lagos. I went to Elizabeth Fowler Memorial Primary School. For anybody that knows Elizabeth Fowler, post in the comment section. That's where I went to school. Yeah. But before we get started, because this is, I'm one of those proud Nigerians. Like I wear it on my sleeve. I am extremely proud to be a Nigerian. Yes, I am a naturalized US citizen, but I can tell you, Nigeria is home. Nigeria is where I was born. I know some people disown Nigeria. Some people, if you ask them where they're from, they'll tell you that they're from another country. That is not me. I am proudly, proudly Nigerian. So what we also do at Mberikat Ventures is we manufacture products in Nigeria using natural resources in Nigeria. We take raw materials, we convert them into finished goods, and we export them into the United States, and we sell directly to you as consumers. You can find some of our offerings on embericat.com/shop. We are also active and very much engaged in the e-commerce space. Our sales channel is wide. We sell on Amazon. We sell on Walmart. We've been selling on Amazon right now we started in 2015. So for 11 years, Bericat Products has been on Amazon, proudly Nigerian made. We don't have a lot of SKUs though. Initially, we started with like 20 something SKUs. We have cut down on our SKUs to really focus on what is actually working. And I think a lot of you, as you get into exports and manufacturing, you're going to be it's what I call it being pregnant with ideas. You're going to be pregnant with ideas. You want to sell everything. You want to import everything. You want to manufacture everything. But my recommendation, based on my experience, having done this for so many years, is only focus on things that you're passionate about. Focus on products that you're passionate about, that you can add value to. If you're in the fashion space, which is something that we've done before, we have since moved away from fashion. We are getting out of fashion altogether. Although right now we do have some jewelry, some beaded jewelry in our portfolio. Once that sells out, we are going to be moving away from that. And this is why we are moving away from cultural jewelry. It's because the material needed, the plastics needed to make those Igbo beads, those Nigerian wedding beads, they are imported from China. They are not locally made. So that's the main reason why we are getting out of that space. We want to strictly focus um, on goods where the materials can be sourced naturally and locally in Nigeria, and then um, turn those materials into finished product. So we are also on Telegram. For those who are not aware, we are on Telegram. Check us out on Telegram. Search Umbericet Group. We have about 300 plus members right now on our Telegram group. We were initially on WhatsApp, but we outgrew WhatsApp very, very fast. We had a situation where we had people, 50 people, 100 people on the waiting list to join our WhatsApp group, because WhatsApp caps you at 1,025 members. And we maxed out that capacity. We had people waiting, and we just couldn't do WhatsApp anymore. It was something that we outgrew and decided, okay, it's time to move on to a platform with. Initially, I was actually initially opposed to moving to Telegram, but um, I was convinced by our members, people like you who are watching, that Telegram is the better platform. So we moved to Telegram. A lot of people on the WhatsApp group are still yet. People are transitioning in slowly from the WhatsApp group. But yes, right now we have 300 and something members on Telegram. The maximum capacity on Telegram is 200,000 people. So we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of Telegram yet. But if you're watching this and you want to follow along, you want to stay in the know on all things exports and investments across US and Nigeria markets, you want to follow us on Telegram. And obviously, if you're watching, you're watching this on YouTube, you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you stay in the know on current happenings in Nigeria. And that's what we bring you. And what is unique about us, a huge differentiator about Beriket and others, is we are actually doing these things. We are not just talking about it. We are not just grabbing headlines in the news and bringing it to you guys. Number one, we are not even a news platform. We are I guess, an investment platform, an exports platform, because we are practically doing everything uh, that we talk about. Combination of manufacturing, exports, and obviously investments. So when you start a small business, it is an investment. When you buy index funds and stocks, it is an investment. When you purchase real estate, whether it's land in Nigeria and the United States, all of these things are investments. And the most important word, the key word here, they are all assets. They are all assets. So what America does and what we are, the main core or the main pillar of our business is building assets across Nigeria and the United States. Assets that will outlive us, assets that we can pass on to our lineage, to our children, that they can then pass on to their kids. And now is the time to do it. It's never too late. For those of you who have been considering investing in Nigeria, for Nigerians in the diaspora who have been at a standstill because for one reason or another you were burned back home, or you just don't know who to turn to, or you just don't know where to go to get information, Bearcat.com is your resource. So we hope that you follow us along on Telegram as well as our YouTube channel. So yesterday we posted on the Telegram group about Dangote's IPO, Dangote Refinery IPO. What we didn't share though with you guys is when that IPO is expected to drop. So if you know, the Dangote Refinery is one of the hottest assets right now in Nigeria. It's still a privately owned company. But Aliko Dangote resigned from his position at all of his other businesses to focus his time, energy, attention, and money on the Dangote refinery in Ibaju, Lekki. So currently, this refinery produces 650,000 barrels per day of petroleum, of PMS, that's fuel. And he just recently announced that he's planning on doubling that daily outputs to about 1.4 million barrels a day. By doing that, that is going to make Dangote Refinery the largest refinery on earth. And as a result, they are opening this thing up to the public. They are going to be launching their IPO, their initial public offering, sometime in Q4 of 2026. So you're looking at about this time next year is when that IPO is going to drop. So my recommendation is, and again, invest at your own pace. Make sure you conduct your due diligence. Make sure it's something that you're interested in. But I highly, highly advise all of you guys start saving for the IPO. It's going to be the hottest IPO in the history of Africa. I'm telling you right now. So start setting aside, start saving money so you can capitalize and invest and buy some shares. So now you're going to ask, well, Rich, how much do you think that I should set aside for the Dangote IPO? My advice and my recommendation, at least what I'm doing, is we are benchmarking. I speak for myself. I am going to be benchmarking a minimum of $1,000, depending on what the exchange rate. Let's say the exchange rate holds still. Right now is about 14.75, but I'm assuming it's going to actually climb back up because the most that I traded in 2025 was about 15.85 to a dollar. Right now, because it's Q4 2025, people are getting ready to travel to Nigeria. Um, Nigerian currency, the naira has gained a little bit and the dollar has weakened from 15.85 a couple of months ago to now it's 14.75. But it's going to keep on, it's going to actually rise back up to the 1500s and maybe even 1600, 1650. But the point I'm trying to say is when it gets to that point, and if you have that $1,000 saved up or set aside, you can go ahead and then just exchange it to the local currency in Nigeria. That is an option, or you can just wait until the IPO drops. But the risk of waiting might be that when that IPO drops, because of all of the excitement around that IPO, it may actually weaken the dollar because you're going to have a lot of diasporans like myself who are ready to invest, who are ready to send money, who are ready to exchange their USD to Naira. Because of that inflow, it may weaken the dollar a little bit. So again, it's something that you have to think about. I mean, I've been doing this now for 5 years, as far as like doing business between the US and Nigeria for 5 years. And I've seen the ebbs and flows of current currency exchange go up and down. When I started in 2020, it was a dollar to 450, I think 450 something naira to a dollar. Back then, cement was just 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. Now, fast forward, October 28, 2025, as of just a few moments ago when I checked, it was $1,477 to a 477 naira to a dollar. But you're gonna have some economists and some experts out there saying that, oh, the USD is going to drop to 1,000. It's not going to drop to 1,000. It's not going to be. The Nigerian naira can never ever be that strong to where the USD drops to 1,000, to 1,000, to 1,000 naira to a dollar. I don't see the Nigerian naira being that strong. Okay. Even now, people are predicting it's going to drop to 1,400. It's not going to drop to 1,400. The month of October is already over. We literally have 2 more months left. And generally, in the month of November and December, primarily those 2 months, that is when the dollar tends to be a lot weaker, just for the mere fact that more and more people are planning to visit Nigeria. And that is why the dollar weakens during the Q4 of every year. But it does pick back up again in Q1 of every year. So starting in January, I personally stopped going to Nigeria in Q4s. And this is like my third year now that I'll be going to Nigeria after the holidays. So I wait until after the holidays, wait until the new year. And I tend to get a lot more done in Q1 in Nigeria than I would have ever gotten done in Q4 during the busy holiday season. So the bottom line is the Dangote refinery is coming. It's not going anywhere. The IPO is going to be launching very, very I would say 12 months. So start setting aside money. Okay, so the app that I use personally, I just recently, um, my niece turned 6 years old last week. And then my older sister, she is 4 months pregnant. And then my younger brother, his wife they just found out that they're with child. So she's just about a month pregnant. So Sendwave, I mean, I use Sendwave. I sent them just 200,000 naira for them to share amongst each other. Um, obviously for my niece's 6th birthday, and also as a pregnancy gift to my brother's wife. So me, I look at these things from the point of supporting the children, the minors, and not so much the adults. Okay. So that one you can do. And I know I'm very critical of remittances. I think they are wasteful. But if you are supporting your nieces, supporting your pregnant family members, I think that is okay. What is not okay is when people start sending money home to their able bodied relatives who refuse to work. That's usually where the problem is. And then oh, well, there's no jobs in Nigeria. There are jobs in Nigeria. You just don't want to do it. I mean, living in the United States, when I was coming up, I did all sorts of odd jobs. I mean, I sold cell phones. I refueled airplanes. At one point, I was a delivery driver, delivering cargo packages to homes. What else haven't I done? I worked at department stores. I sold computer components. I mean, I did a lot of odd jobs throughout college. Even after college, struggling to find a job, you still have to do a lot of these odd jobs to make ends meet. But the excuse back home is always there are no jobs, and I hear that all the time. There are jobs. You can get out there with a wheelbarrow, load up that wheelbarrow with coconuts. By the time you push it from one block to another, with Nigeria's 230 million population, if you're a good salesman and you are friendly, you are going to sell out of that coconut within a couple of hours. I mean, I even went home to Nigeria about 4 years ago, and I went and I sold Gary at the market. Now, while I wasn't really doing that for the money, I didn't need the money, but I did it just for the market research and the market experience. I wanted to really be in the belly of Nigerian market commerce. Like I wanted to see how people purchase. I wanted to see how they paid for items. I also wanted to see how this is the same Gary that we are still currently selling on on america.com/shop. We have it on sale also on Amazon and Walmart. Very, very popular. And another, the most important thing that I think, I said teen, talking like like a Nigerian now. But the most important thing that I wanted to gain was I wanted to actually capture the story behind the product. I wanted to see how people interacted with our Gary. So then that way I can take that information and integrate it into our marketing here stateside in the United States. And it worked perfectly. So yes, I rolled up my sleeves. I went to Ukam Market. The video is on our YouTube channel. Just type in Barricade Ukam Markets, UKAM. You see me there live in the village at one of the markets there in my local government in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, selling Gari. We sold out of, I think we had about a ton of Gari there, in Barricade Gari. We sold out literally in about 45 minutes. So much so that now, anytime that I'm in Nigeria in the village, people are always asking me, when are we going to get some more? When are we going to get some more Gary? And the reason why we stopped doing it was because I ended up letting go of our team. I felt like they just weren't, they couldn't grow as far as like where I wanted them to be in my mind. And as far as like the product offering, we do have a unique product. Our Gary was, we fry them over firewood fire. There's a specific way that we we manufactured and processed the American Gary that was a lot different from the local Garys there. So people actually gravitated towards it. We were able to build a small customer base when I was there. But as far as getting the team to the level that I wanted them to be, I was unable to do so. And to avoid compromising the quality of the product, I ended up letting go of everybody and I shut down the operation. The inventory that we currently have right now is the one that was the last batch that we produced before I let the entire Gary processing, Gary production team go. So if you're interested in that batch, go to america.com/shop, search Gary, and you can buy directly from our website, or you can find us on Amazon and purchase directly there. So that's the story behind that. Um, yeah, so I'm not going to be too long in this session. It is already 10:30, 10:23. I do have I have a doctor's appointment. I have to go and get my lab work done today. Tomorrow is actually the official appointment, but they wanted me to come in today to, and again, I found this out after I had scheduled the session. I got a call from the VA. That's the Veterans Hospital, which obviously it's within the U.S. government. So the VA is not really impacted at all. They are still functioning, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But yeah, so I'm going in as soon as I wrap this up. I'm going to go straight to get my lab test done, and then tomorrow is when my main appointment is. So I'm still going to schedule another podcast for tomorrow, but it's not going to be 10 a.m. It's not going to be the same time that I normally try uh, to schedule the podcast, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time, US, and 6 p.m. Nigeria. So more than likely, I'm going to push tomorrow's episode to about 2 or 2:30 p.m. So just do the math. Wherever you are in the world, that's when it's going to. That's when I'm going to go live. And tomorrow's topic. Anyway, I don't want to reveal it right now in case it changes. But subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so when it's scheduled, you are notified. As far as like health wise, guys, I know that this channel is primarily about exports and investments and business. But it is very important, guys, that you and men and women that you take your health very, very seriously. Especially if you are over 40 years old. I am 47 years old. I'll be 48 next year, June 16th. I consider myself a very disciplined guy when it comes to my health. I've always been that way. I've never ever really been out of shape. I've always been disciplined about what I put in my system. And yes, I have two vices. I love smoking cigars and I love drinking my fine bourbon. Those are like my main two vices, and I'm not giving those up anytime soon. But again, I mean, I've heard that people who smoke cigars actually live longer, and people who drink bourbon and whiskey actually live longer. But obviously, everything in moderation. Um, so yes, I do consider myself someone that is very, very health conscious. I'm 6'2". The biggest that I've ever weighed was about 220 pounds. But it was 220 pounds of muscle. Like this was back then in college when I was living in the gym. I literally worked out 5 days a week. I would spend 2 to 3 hours at the gym. Now I just don't have that time anymore. My workout regimen now is very conservative. I try to get in at least a workout in 3 times a week: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But for the most part, sometimes I skip Friday. I don't always honor the Friday workouts, but Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 a.m. in the morning, that's when I wake up. And fortunately for us, we're able to convert our garage into a gym. So my gym is only 15 feet away from the main property. I get up, I roll out, roll into the gym, get my reps in, get my cardio in, get my stretches in. Very, very important. I think more than anything else, stretching is important than the actual workout itself. And the older that you get, the more that you realize that. I remember in my younger days, I didn't always stretch. I would go, maybe do a few seconds of stretches here and there, lift my weights, and then I'm out. But now, as you get older, I dedicate at least a good solid 15 to 20 minutes on just proper stretching. And what I realize happens is the better that I stretch, the better that I work out, the better reps I do, the better crunches, and the better cardio that I do. And all of that is based on good stretching. So the point is, guys, take your health seriously. An unhealthy or an incapacitated person can't invest. And if, especially if you are doing business in Nigeria, you need to be at top-notch shape because you guys, as you know, Nigeria is like New York times 50. Nigeria is high octane, depending on where you are investing in. We are focused mostly in the Uyo Akwa Ibom, I'm sorry, the Akwa Ibom market, but I do have property uh, near Ibejuleki. I have a piece of land there, about a good 30-minute drive away from the Dangote refinery. So I have land there that we are holding on to. I'm going to be developing it in the next, let's say, within the next 10 years or so. So if you're going to be doing business in Nigeria, of all places, you need to be in top shape. Your cardio needs to be on point because Nigeria can be helter skelter. So it's very, very important. Take care of your health. Schedule your annual physical. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a businessman, just like you. And I'm telling you, these things are important. Um, in my case, um, I have an annual checkup every year, and then every 6 months, I do a follow up checkup. And my primary provider is the VA hospital. And the VA hospital, that's the Veterans Administration Hospital, is only for service members, people who have served in the United States military, and their spouses and immediate family members. So in my case, I served before I got married. Okay, I served before I got married. So my benefits only applies to me. But my family is fortunate enough that Kate is an educator, and the education system in the United States, they have decent health care benefits. So Kate and the kids are in the school system's healthcare plan. I'm not there because I already have mine 100% through the VA. So if you've served honorably in the US military, I served in the US Army, you receive a honorable discharge, meaning you served with pride, with honor. And part of your benefit for life is free healthcare. So I'm fortunate in that regard, but it was something that I invested heavily in. It was one of the best investments that I made was enlisting in the US Army, and I'm benefiting today. Okay. So the Veterans Administration, the VA hospital, is it impacted by the government shutdown? Based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't think it is. I don't think they've slowed down a bit because I'm getting calls and I'm getting. I'm recently just went and got my flu shot uh, about a month ago. So, but that was pre shutdown. So the shutdown happened on October 1st. October 1st. So my flu shot was like in September. So I don't think the VA hospital has missed a bit. But before I get into it, the topic of today, and thank you guys for listening to my story, and hopefully you take a thing or two out of the Dangote refinery IPO, and also sending money through Sendwave, which is the app that I use. They are not a sponsor of my podcast, but I've been using Sendwave now for 5 years. It's worked perfectly for me. That's part of all the things too. Is like when I'm sharing something with you guys, I'm sharing what works for me. I'm telling you guys what I am currently plugged. I'm telling you guys what I'm currently plugged in. Okay. Um, and then also as far as like that health care goes, take care of yourself. Um, do your stretches. Obviously, nutrition is key. You can work out from sun up to sundown. If your nutrition is not on point, you are going to struggle. So for us, Kate and I think we are going to actually do a podcast on health and how we take care of ourselves. And Kate has been making huge strides in her nutrition, and it's showing in her body. She's slimming down. She looks, obviously, my wife, slim or not, to me, she's beautiful. But she's really she's formed a group with her friends, and they are all on this accountability health program with her and amongst her friends, and they are all holding each other accountable. I'm fortunate that I don't need that because I've always been a very fairly disciplined person when it comes to health. Also being in the US Army, it's always instilled in you that you got to be ready. If you have to get ready is a problem, you got to always stay ready. So I'm very, very proud of her and what she's doing. So I think we're going to put together a podcast so she can come onto the show and at least share with you guys what the plan or whatever program that she's on, and maybe you guys can take that and apply it in your daily lives. So why does this topic matter as far as the US shutdown and also at Nigerian exports at risk? So when Washington shuts down, the global trade does not really stop, although it slows down. So right now, no one really knows the politics behind the shutdown. I know that if you live in the US, you will know that this thing is actually very common. Government shutdown is very, very common. What is uncommon is the duration of it. So Obama had his own shutdown for I think about 2 weeks. When it's less than 2 weeks, it doesn't really make national news because it's expected. But when it stretches beyond 2 weeks, that's when you start seeing a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention on the shutdown. And in this case, it's been ongoing now for 28 days. The person that actually holds the record of the longest US shutdown in the history of America is actually the current sitting president, Donald Trump, in his first administration. I think he had it like at 35, 36 days of government shutdown. We are already 28 days into it. Knowing the president, I think he may try to beat his own record because there's not really a solution, an impending solution anytime soon. They are still going at it. Trump wants what he wants. The opposition wants what they want. And right now, it's like cats and dogs. They're pulling and pushing. Everyone is trying to get something out of this. That's just the way it goes. And it slows down quite a bit, but it doesn't necessarily stop activities. So, are Nigerian exports at risk? Personally, I don't think so. And that is why I asked you guys earlier in this video is, are you currently exporting? And also, did you pause until the export, sorry, not export, until the shutdown ends? And if so, why? So, just from experience, it doesn't really impact Nigerian exports at all. I don't think that Nigerian exports are at risk here with the US shutdown. Now, if it goes, let's say, okay, so the longest was 35 days. Let's just say, give or take, it's a 6 week shutdown, which I highly, highly doubt. Now we may start to be a little bit concerned, like especially going into the holidays. What's going on? A lot of government workers, they are not currently earning a living. They're not being paid. It's not as if they've been fired or been laid off, but there's just no money to pay them. But when the shutdown does end and everybody agrees to move forward, all of those federal workers are going to receive their back pay. Then it's going to be as if nothing happened. So this is a political game that happens. It's very, very common. And if you've been following me, you know I'm really not much into politics. The two things I stay away from, and I would encourage entrepreneurs out there is you want to stay away from politics and you want to stay away from religion. These are conversations that you can have privately and you can have internally among your close circles, but it's not really something that you want to publicize. So you're never ever going to find me publicly disparaging or critiquing um, the government. I may do so privately with my friends, with my wife, but it's not really something that I'm going to because they are hardliners. People who are into politics and into religion are hardliners. It's one way or the other. And regardless of the way that they choose to go, they are 150%, 1000% right in their own way. So that is why politics is not really something that you ever see me get into. So the politics, the main thing about the shutdown is really unknown, other than just at the surface level. You say, okay, well, maybe they just haven't arrived at what the other side wants. But when they do, everything is going to be going to be resolved. If you are still in the process of exporting right now, don't stop. Don't wait. Don't be crossing your fingers waiting for the shutdown to end. If you are able to still export from Nigeria, just expect that there might be a little bit of a slowdown in terms of like clearing customs, the different agencies that are involved that you should know. Agencies like the CBP, the Customs and Border Protection Agency, agencies like the USDA and the FDA. These are agencies, especially for those who are into the exportation of food stuff. FDA has oversight over that. If you are, and they work alongside the USDA, they have oversight on that. If you are, like the Exim Bank, for those who are borrowing from like export import loans, there may be a slight delay on getting answers. Okay, it's just a delay. You got to look at it like you're just just look at it like the can is being kicked down the road. So one particular website that I follow is trade.gov. This is the United States website for all things import export. You go to trade.gov right now, they haven't really updated anything. This is where I actually go to get information on summits and conferences, like export import summits and conferences that I can then put into my calendar and plan to attend. There haven't really been any updates, maybe because the workers there at trade.gov, which is a US government platform, maybe they are furloughed right now. Maybe they are working, um, maybe they've reduced their hours. You just don't really know. No one really knows what is happening. But once all of this ends, I guess the point I'm trying to make is you're not really going to get like up to date information on things. So things are just a little bit slow. That is really what the government shutdown is all about. So 28 days into it, I personally am anticipating this to be a 6 week shutdown, because I just know that Donald Trump is going to try and beat his own record of 35 days from his first administration. It's just that is just the way. Even if it's just for fun, even if it's just not necessary, if they were to come at an if they were to agree on something today, meaning let's end this government shutdown on October 28th. We've been 28 days into it. Let's end it today. I can almost guarantee you that Donald Trump is going to try and push push it to like past the original 35 days in his first administration, just to beat his own record. He's a very, very interesting president. You know, I have nothing against him. I personally don't know him. Um, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for, but the bottom line is he is the sitting president of the United States, and uh, that's just the way politics works. So um, more than anything else, it's just a delay. It's more. It's look at it's just like a nuisance to processes. There may be a delay in cargo. Is America currently exporting right now during the shutdown? No, we we wrapped up our exports in September, and that is what we actually recommend too for those who are in this space. Everything that you are doing when it comes to exports between the US and Nigeria, try as much as possible to optimize to be finished by the end of September. Because the moment that you enter Q4, the fourth quarter of every year, things tend to just naturally move a bit slow, particularly in the import export space. Because manufacturers, logistics companies, everybody is rushing to get things out. China is the world's factory. As you guys know, China shuts down every February of every year to go on a Chinese holiday. So a lot of their focus is on getting things out by Q4 of 20 of Q4 of the previous year. So can you still continue manufacturing in Nigeria? We are doing that right now. We haven't stopped manufacturing. We have wheels in motion currently in Nigeria, but as far as wheels in the air, it's going to wait until January of 2026. And it's not because of the shutdown, it's just because that is a system that we've created that works for us. We generally tend to just focus all of our attention in Q4 on sales. We want to meet the sales rush. We want to sell, 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 sell in Q4. And then starting in Q1, that is when we are resuming our exports. And hopefully by then, I mean, I don't see the government shutdown extending to to the new year. But then all of this is going to be resolved. Another cool thing about waiting until Q1 is the holidays has ended. People are back from the holidays. They are motivated to work. Manufacturers are motivated to manufacture. Logistics companies are motivated to kickstart the new year with new customers. Everybody is motivated to get back on that saddle Q4, people are burned out. I can tell you, even me, I'm burned out because I look at January to September, I am 100% in motion. Go, 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 go. And then in the Q4, I can relax a little bit, focus on sales. And at the tail end of the year, I'm planning for 2020, 2026. So that's usually how it goes. So for Nigerian exporters, again, the agencies that matter, CBP, if you are based here in the United States, which that's our primary audience, our diasporans, CBP is very important to know because you're going to need to obtain that importer of record number. So if you're applying for that number right now that the government has shut down, expect a long delay. And even when the government reopens, there's going to be a backlog. So expect an even longer delay. That is it. That is the nuisance. That's the issue it causes. Same with the FDA. If you are registering your establishment, for those who are in the food space, cosmetic space, if you are exporting things that people rub on their skin, that they ingest, you have to have your facility registered with the FDA. So let's say if you were to register with the FDA now, as a result of the government shutdown, you may not get that registration number for, let's say, a month or 6 weeks because they have to process everything when everybody gets back to work and everybody is paid. A lot of those backlogged applications will be addressed, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay. So that is it. When these agencies go dark, it doesn't mean that trade stops. It doesn't mean that export stops. People are still exporting every day, even during the shutdown. Outside of US Nigeria corridor, just the global exports, people are still doing it. It's just that things tend to slow down a little bit, but it doesn't officially come to a full stop. Just gets slower, gets a little bit riskier, and then it also gets more expensive because those demurrage fees, guess what? It's not the government that pays them. Every single day that your product um, is at a warehouse, whether it's at a bonded warehouse, or every extra day that your product is in transit, okay, you are going to pay for that. I ordered something from Pakistan recently, something that would normally take about a week for me to receive. It's taken me about 2 weeks to receive. And I can tell you that that is also due in large part to the US government shutdown. So, but once you anticipate that, you are not going to be bothered. It's not going to fluster you once you anticipate these sort of like delays. Okay. So another thing too that I think this is actually more important than anything else is AGOA. That is the African Growth and Opportunity Act. But you have to remember that AGOA actually expired the day before. Yes, AGOA expired September 30th. Yes, September 30th. The day before the government shutdown started. So as of right now, AGOA is still at a standstill. Nobody really knows what's happening. Is it being discussed? Are they currently going through negotiations on AGOA? As far as like, I know that in principle they've extended it to another year, but it's not officialized. So for those of you who don't know what AGOA is, it's basically an agreement. It's not a trade act. It's not a trade act. Some people mistake AGOA as a trade act. It's not. It's just a program between eligible African countries and the United States. And what this program means is there are about 1,800 different categories that is duty free in the United States. I'm talking about African products. Food product is among them. So when you export, let's say, agro food in bulk or agro food for retail from Nigeria into the United States, it's zero duty. But you're still going to have to pay the tariffs, though. AGOA does not exempt tariffs. So initially, when Trump rolled out his reciprocal tariffs in, was it July or August, it was 14%, and then he increased it, raised it about a point, so now it's 15%. So that tariff still applies. But for 1,800 different categories. Now, I'm talking about just categories. That does not include the HS codes, meaning the actual product. So within that 1,800 categories, you are looking at over 6,000 products that qualifies for duty exemption with AGOA. So what that means is, as an exporter, importer, importing African products into the US duty free, I get to keep that money. It's a huge benefit to exporters. It's a huge benefit for Nigeria. AGOA is not an African agreement or an African program. AGOA also is not an EU program. So you can't call up your freight forwarder today or your customs broker today if you are exporting from Nigeria to the UK and say, well, can I get that AGOA benefit? It doesn't work. It does not what AGOA is for. AGOA is strictly between eligible African nations and the United States. So right now, AGOA has expired. We shipped our last shipment before the expiration, so we benefited from duty free before AGOA expired. That was when we shipped. I think we shipped like the first week of September. And I was very, very conscious about that because I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know if it was going to be extended. I didn't know it was going to be renewed. I wasn't sure if it was going to just die altogether. So I ensured that our shipment arrived in the United States within that window that AGOA was still valid. So we received zero duty, although we still had to pay that 15% tariff. So it's going to it's going to affect this shutdown. It is affecting AGOA. And once the US government opens up, again, we don't know if AGOA is going to be renewed or if the US government is going to form individual trading agreement with each specific country. That's another thing too that we need to consider. Nigeria. What is Nigeria doing? I know Nigeria right now is busy chasing EU. I don't think that Nigeria is focusing. I'm talking about the Nigerian government. I don't really see the same level of commitment in US that I'm seeing right. Maybe they're doing something under the table. Maybe they're doing something privately. We don't know. But it's like every time I see the Nigerian government going out, borrowing money, trying to form MOU pact, that's memorandum of understanding, you don't really see them talking about the United States. But here's the thing, I know that the United States is interested in Nigeria. I know that there's strong US interest in Nigeria. I know that right now, the US ambassador to Nigeria, they are really, I mean, America is interested in Nigeria. So is Nigeria going to create a special program between the US and Nigeria for trade? Because think about it, 400,000 cars, US cars are imported to Nigeria every year. 400,000. A high percentage of that are US automobiles. And I've said this before in previous videos that Nigerians love American products. Nigerians love made in USA products. You go back in the day, I remember when Belgium cars used to be popular. Everybody was importing Belgium cars, Mercedes, German cars. Now you enter Nigeria right now, American cars are hot commodities. Because I used to be in that space. Ford, hot. Chevy, hot. Car parts from the US. This is the country where everybody shops for car parts now. So I'm hoping um that they are not just focused on it's called the the African Regional Trade uh, um, Act, AFCFTA. I know that Nigeria is focused on that right now, but I would really like to see more being done with on the US side. And for those in the diaspora, and I've said this guys in previous videos, start visiting this website, nidcom.com, NIDCOM. It's the Nigerian Diaspora Commission website. They cater exclusively to Nigerians in the diaspora, not just enterprise, just overall. That commission is for the welfare of Nigerians abroad. For those who are interested in reconnecting back home, that platform is a great platform to get to know. There are programs there that can benefit you. They have housing scheme, they have housing programs, they have information. There's actually an upcoming Diaspora Investment Summit coming up next month, November 11th. I'm going to be attending virtually via Zoom. I just found out about it a couple of weeks ago. Otherwise, I would have made some plans to go to Nigeria for it. But now that I know if it's a yearly thing, it's something I'm going to start optimizing to attend. If it's a yearly thing, even if I'm just dropping into Nigeria for that summit, and then returning back to the United States, and then going back to Nigeria again Q1 of the following year. We are actively involved in investment in Nigeria, whether it's through manufacturing, whether it's export ready goods, whether it's buying index funds and Nigerian stocks, or whether it's through real estate. America is actively invested in Nigeria. So as far as like stocks is concerned, I forgot to mention this. Merry Trade is the trading platform that I use, the brokerage trading platform that I use. Merry Trade. MERITRADE. They are registered with the Nigerian, the Securities Exchange Commission of Nigeria, and also the Nigerian Stock Exchange. They are a legitimate platform for you to start trading and prepping yourself to start picking up Nigerian stocks from abroad. And the days of you going through a broker, those days are gone. You can trade, you can buy and sell your own shares yourself. So we own shares and stocks here in the US through Fidelity Investments, not Fidelity Bank Nigeria. Just Fidelity Investments is a brokerage app, a brokerage platform that we use here in the United States. And I invest in Walmart stocks. I invest in S&P 500 index fund. And now through Merry Trade, we are starting to invest in Nigerian stocks as well. And we can't wait for the Dangote refinery IPO to drop so we can hop on it. Okay. So, okay. So yeah, we're going to wrap up. It's an hour in. Hope you guys learned a thing or two out of this. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. My name is Richard Bericat. Trusted name, driving US, Nigeria, exports and investments. Visit us on bericat.com. Be sure to join our Telegram group to keep building assets together. Keyword assets. Keyword assets. Remittances are not assets. Giving money to your able-bodied brother and sister, family member who refuses to work is not building assets. So just to double back on what I said at the beginning of this session, start saving towards that Dangote IPO, guys. I'm telling you, make your benchmark for a minimum of $1,000. If the exchange rate is 1,500 naira. That is 1.5 million. Just JJ invest them for Dangote refinery. Leave it alone for 5, 10 years and see what happens. This is the new Nigeria. This is not the Nigeria of our parents. So this is the new Nigeria. The new Nigeria is beautiful. Why? Because I'm a living proof. And it's even sweeter because I get to live two beautiful lives. I get to live a beautiful life in the United States and I also get to live a beautiful life in Nigeria. And for those of you who have jackpot and you're considering jackpada, jackpada doesn't mean you have to go back and live in Nigeria. Jackpada means you are investing in Nigeria. Go on america.com/consulting. Book a consulting session with me. I have a 30-minute consultation sessions, virtual consultation session going on right now. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs because, yesterday's consultation price may not be today's consultation price. So if you're interested in Nigerian investments, go to mbariket.com/consulting today and book your consulting session with me. If you're interested in authentic Nigerian products, visit mbariket.com/shop and shop authentic Nigerian goods. If you feel more comfortable buying on Amazon and Walmart, we are there. Just search Mbariket. We are there. Okay. So thank you guys. I gotta get going. My appointments, they want me to be there at noon. So I gotta rush out of here. And again, stay tuned. Be sure to like, share, and comment. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay. All the best, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in.